By the time she dragged herself into his quarters on her elbows, sweat-covered and moaning, he assumed either war had started, or foreplay had. Jack blinked once, then twice, then stared at the purple-skinned alien woman collapsed on his floor like some tragic erotic painting. Pressure, she hissed through clenched teeth. Between my thighs. Critical. Cannot walk. His brain short-circuited. Zareen had always been weird, even by alien standards. Tall, statuesque, built like a goddess sculpted by someone really into thighs, and trained as a fleet tactician. But lately she'd been acting off. Jack had seen her doing waltzes in the mess hall, hovering awkwardly near him during drills, and yesterday, he swore, she tried to slide a chair out using only her inner thighs. And now here she was, dragging herself across his quarters like a war casualty with lipstick. He crouched beside her, cautious. Did you get hit? Ambushed? Fall into a maintenance shaft? Her expression was deadly serious. It's your fault, she said. You've been too alluring. Jack blinked. Me? I studied human mating rituals, she continued. Earth women attract males by engaging their thigh pressure mechanisms. I have followed this. But now, they will not relax. I am compromised. Jack stared at her. Then at her thighs. Then back at her. You squeeze too hard? Continuously. For 2 days. Without rest. I believed maximum compression increased desirability. My inner systems are now in lockdown. He couldn't help it, he snorted. You've got a cramp. That's what this is. You didn't trigger some interspecies sex beacon. You're just sore. Her eyes narrowed. Then you will relieve it. Excuse me? With your hands. Earth females require male touch to release tension. I require your touch. Jack opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again, then sighed. You're not gonna let this go, are you? No. I am in agony. And quite possibly mating heat. I may explode. Okay, he muttered, helping her to the bed. Let's fix your thighs before the ship gets covered in alien sex plasma. She sat stiffly, legs locked together like someone guarding state secrets. He hesitated, then rested his hands on her upper thighs. I cannot breathe, she said. That's probably just embarrassment. Or oxygen deprivation from clenching like a hydraulic press. He began gently massaging the inside of her thigh. She immediately moaned, a low, guttural, uncomfortably erotic sound that bounced off the walls like a bad idea in a church. Jack froze. That was a release of tension, she said, voice thick. I'm sure it was, Jack replied, avoiding eye contact. He tried a deeper motion. She gasped. He tried lighter pressure. She growled. Harder, she whispered. This had to be a prank. Some sick cosmic reality show where humans were tested for interspecies awkwardness. He needed deeper, moving higher, until her legs finally began to unlock. There's definitely a knot here, he muttered. Yes, she groaned. A knot of lustful suffering. He paused. You named the cramp? It has controlled me. It deserves respect. Sweat gathered at his temple. Her body was warm, too warm, and her skin shimmered slightly under his palms. Every moan she made sent new waves of regret through his spine. Zareen, he said, this isn't how human mating works. Then you must show me. With precision. With intention. With your glorious earth fingers. His life was spiraling. He was a damn mechanic, not some intergalactic tantric therapist. And yet here he was, thigh-deep in a purple commander's erotic misunderstanding. She adjusted her position slightly, sliding closer, her hips twitching with effort. The tension is spreading, she murmured. You must continue. Jack sighed. This is why I never joined dating apps. He worked for another few minutes, focusing on muscle release while actively ignoring the continuous stream of sultry commentary she provided. Your hands are powerful, she whispered. I feel fertility returning. Please don't say that, he muttered. You're unlocking sacred chakras. I swear if you say one more New Age phrase, I'm going to let your thighs implode. But her muscles were loosening. Slowly, surely, she began to breathe easier, her posture relaxing. The burning has lessened, she whispered. Then my job here is done, Jack said, standing and backing away like he just defused a bomb. She grabbed his hand. No. The final phase is near. Nope. No final phases. There are no phases. This isn't a mating protocol. This is a cramp, and I'm a guy who works with wrenches. She stared at him, utterly serious. Then wrench me, Jack. That's not a thing, he said. It could be, she replied. You've already loosened my bolts. He ran a hand down his face. This is worse than that time the ship's AI developed a foot fetish. Zareen tried to stand. She wobbled. My thighs, they still ache. But less. You are effective. Thanks, he muttered, adjusting his shirt. If we're done here, I'm gonna go dunk my face in coolant and pretend this never happened. You will return, she said. There may be residual tension. Recurring compression. I will require ongoing treatment. He shook his head and walked toward the door. Jack, she called after him. He paused. Yes? Next time, bring oil. The door slid shut just before he groaned. I hate space. He didn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face contorted in pleasure and pain, heard her voice demanding harder, deeper, faster. And worst of all, he felt her skin still on his palms like some exotic heat he couldn't wash off. The next morning, he woke up to find her standing stiffly outside his door, arms crossed, back straight, eyes glowing like a woman who had just discovered both yoga and divine purpose. The pressure returned during the night, she said calmly. I require another session. Perhaps twice as long. With rhythmic tempo. He blinked. It's not a spa, and I'm not a drum. She barged in without waiting. I attempted stretching. It was ineffective. Likely because I am not human flexible. You must guide me. You want a stretch coach now? He groaned. You cured me once. You are qualified. I'm a mechanic. A mechanic of bodies. Muscle fibers aren't pistons. And yet you loosen mine. He rubbed his temple. Fine. We'll do this your way. I'll show you basic human stretches. You follow. No touching, no moaning, no oil. She nodded solemnly, then sat with legs spread in a posture so suggestive he nearly choked. That's not how we begin, he said quickly. First, touch your toes. She leaned forward slowly, letting out a sound that made his ears twitch. Are you doing this on purpose? I am merely experiencing maximum elongation. It feels like awakening. Or mating. He stepped behind her, resisting the urge to slap his own face. Let me help. The moment he placed his hands on her lower back, she shivered. Yes, there. That's the zone. It's your lumbar, he muttered. A common tension zone. Nothing special. It feels special. They moved to a butterfly pose. She stared down at her open thighs. I'm exposed, she said dreamily. You're stretching your groin. That's literally the point. Then I am succeeding. Do I look attractive now? You look like you're about to rupture a space banana. That's good? He sighed and moved to demonstrate a lunge. She copied, but her execution looked more like an audition for intergalactic burlesque. Your hips are supposed to stay square. But then you cannot see my mating curvature. I'm not trying to see your mating anything. Why not? Because this isn't a porno. It's physical therapy. You say that, yet your face says trauma and arousal. He stopped. This isn't working. You're not taking this seriously. I am. You're treating this like interstellar foreplay. Isn't it? He turned, arms flailing. No. Humans don't seduce by pulling hamstrings. We don't greet lovers with leg cramps and massage requests. Then how? She asked, genuinely confused. We talk. We flirt. We drink. Maybe dinner. Maybe subtle compliments. Not, my thighs are broken, fix me, oil boy. She paused, thinking. So, no compression rituals? None. But I read that thigh squeezing increases pheromone projection. Only if you're wearing leggings and walking past your crush, not doing wall sits until your hips scream for mercy. She looked disappointed. I see. I may have misinterpreted the manual. Which manual? Cosmopolitan, Earth Edition, year 1998. He nearly passed out. You based your mating technique on that? That issue had tips like putting ice cubes in your bra to stay memorable. I did that too. It only made the captain uncomfortable. He stared at her, dumbfounded. You could have just asked me. I was shy. And curious. And driven by blood pressure. That's the worst combination I've ever heard. I wanted to understand the appeal of human men. You smell like metal and burnt protein. And yet, I crave. He choked. You crave? Affection. Exploration. Your rough tenderness. That sounds like a bad romance novel. Then write me a chapter. Please stop talking. She crawled toward him slowly, smiling in a way that made it clear she was learning from every move. Perhaps now, we begin real bonding. You have stretched my body. Now stretch my understanding. That's not how anatomy or philosophy works. You have healed me once. Heal me again. But not just the body. I swear, if you say the soul next, I'm transferring to the cargo bay. She stopped in front of him, eyes wide. Would you touch me again? Just to realign the compression zones? There are no zones. Then make one. His sanity was evaporating faster than coolant in engine bay 9. You need a cold shower and a library card. You need lotion. Your hands looked chapped last time. That's because you made me work your thighs like a meat tenderizer. That was our sacred first contact. She leaned forward again. Tell me more about these flirting things. The human rituals. If I am to seduce you properly, I wish to avoid injury this time. He raised an eyebrow. So, no more thigh squeezing? Unless you request it. God help me. She stood up, still wobbly, but determined. I will master human seduction. Starting now. Tonight you will teach me the ways. I will not clench. I will charm. Great. Can't wait. Should I bring oil anyway? In case you relapse? You know what? Sure. Bring the damn oil. He walked toward the mess hall, muttering curses, rubbing his temples, and wondering how in hell a routine bunk assignment turned into an erotic stretching circus. She followed 2 steps behind, humming happily and whispering words from her manual. He didn't know what was coming next, but it probably involved flexibility, misunderstanding, and another deeply regrettable massage. And somehow, he was no longer entirely against it. Dinner that night was awkward, and not because the food was gray and still moving. She sat across from him with perfect posture, elbows off the table, eyes laser-focused. Every time he reached for his cup, she mirrored him. Every sip he took, she took one too. He chewed slower just to test it, so did she. The whole thing felt like a psychological staring contest wrapped in romantic espionage. You said humans flirt over meals? She said softly. This is meal. I am flirt. He nearly choked. You don't have to mimic everything I do. Then guide me. I am open. He raised an eyebrow. You're not supposed to say that out loud. That's the kind of thing that gets you kicked off dates. Oh. So I should pretend I am closed? No. Just be subtle. Subtle means I whisper it. God, no. Please don't whisper anything right now. She leaned closer. You look distressed. Do you need thigh therapy again? He dropped his fork. Never say that at the table. Understood. Save it for dessert. She gave him a wink that could melt titanium. He wiped his mouth, stood up, and muttered, Let's just walk it off. Back in the corridor, she matched his pace too closely again. Her shoulder brushed his every few steps. Humans enjoy physical proximity during courtship. she offered. Yeah, but you don't have to simulate a shared spine. I can recalibrate. Don't recalibrate. Just walk like you're not trying to dock with me. She was quiet for a moment. Then, earnestly, I find your sarcasm arousing. That says more about you than it does about me. They entered the empty gym. It smelled like ambition, failure, and disinfectant. She walked to the center mat and turned to face him. I wish to try the stretching again. Properly this time. No moaning. No mating metaphors. He raised an eyebrow. You sure? That's been your whole thing. I wish to improve. She paused, then added, unless you prefer the metaphors. I can still simulate heat. He gestured for her to sit. She obeyed. He moved behind her slowly, cautiously, like approaching a creature known to mistake yoga for foreplay. Just breathe normally, he instructed. Like this? She inhaled through her nose and exhaled with a sigh so sultry it practically fogged the mirrors. Let's try less moaning and more oxygen. You're very specific. You're very dangerous. As he guided her into stretches, gentle hip openers, thigh extensions, calf rolls, he noticed she was genuinely trying. No suggestive comments. No mating calls. Just occasional hissing when something hurt. You're improving, he said, surprised. You're not trying to seduce me anymore. I am seducing with discipline, she said, deadpan. Nothing is more human than restraint. You read that in a fortune cookie, didn't you? Yes. It was stuck to your sock. As she eased into a deeper stretch, she winced. Tension again. Less severe than before, but localized. It's normal. You're just sore from yesterday. Then apply treatment. I thought we weren't doing that. This is clinical. Non-erotic. I am in compression distress. Why does everything you say sound like a bedroom malfunction? Still, he reached for her thigh and began kneading the tense muscle. She hissed, then groaned, but quickly bit her lip. Do not misinterpret. That was pain. Of course. But if you choose to misinterpret, I wouldn't stop you. He smirked despite himself. I thought this was the new disciplined version of you. It is. She is conflicted. He switched thighs. You really went all in on that magazine article, didn't you? Yes. And now I am adapting. I am evolving. I will become the ultimate human partner. With minimal injury. That's a low bar, but sure. The massage grew slower. Less frantic. Less medically necessary. Her muscles loosened. Her breathing slowed. This is effective, she said quietly. I feel soft. You're not supposed to feel anything emotional. This is strictly mechanical. You're the one who called me a machine last week. I said you fight like a machine. And now I moan like one? You said no metaphors. Sorry. It slipped. He moved his hand slightly, and she let out a very unclinical noise. He froze. That one sounded real. That one was real, she admitted. I am confused. Relaxed? Flushed. I wish to proceed. Proceed with what? The human method. Subtle. Mutual. I have removed the tension. Now, perhaps, create new tension. He backed away, hands raised. Whoa. Stretching only. No. Anything else. Why? You desire me. I've seen the way you adjust your pants. That's because you moan every time I say the word press. Because I am eager to learn. She stood. Then teach me the next step. The romantic interlude. I have trained. I am worthy. It doesn't work that way. Why not? Because most human relationships don't start with someone screaming "Heal my thighs" in a hallway. Then I am unique. Memorable. This is desirable, yes? He stared at her. She looked proud, like a student who just built a volcano that exploded through the roof. You know what? He said. Let's say, hypothetically, we were trying this whole thing. Dating or whatever. You'd have to stop using the phrase compression zone during flirting. Noted. And maybe, don't treat massages like mating rituals. I can compartmentalize. And don't read any more human romance articles from the 90s. I will read current articles. With verified seduction strategies. He sighed. This is going to be a nightmare. She grinned. Or a dream. Depending on pressure. He shook his head, grabbed his towel, and started walking toward the exit. She followed him again, a step behind, whispering softly. Next time. I'd bring candles. That's in every article. Very effective. May cause mild combustion. He didn't say no. And that was the problem. He didn't expect her to show up in his room that night wearing a bathrobe and holding a lit candle like she was starring in a budget romance holofilm. She didn't knock. She just entered, placed the candle on his toolbox, and stood there with the same proud confidence as someone presenting a dissertation. I researched proper ambience, she announced. Scented light facilitates arousal and trust. He blinked. That's cinnamon. Correct. The article said it simulates dessert. Humans become vulnerable around dessert. You're not wrong, but this feels more like a hostage situation. She stepped closer. I have prepared. No compression rituals. No awkward metaphors. Just authentic bonding. With a candle? And prepared dialogue. Would you like to hear my top 3 compliments for human males? Please don't. 1. Your hair is adequately distributed. 2. Your emotional damage makes you intriguing. 3. Your thighs look strong enough to mount me during mutual struggle. He coughed hard enough to hurt. You really went for it on number 3. It tested well in my mind rehearsal. He rubbed his eyes. Let's rewind. What is this? Why are you in my room? What are you hoping happens here? Bonding. Connection. Perhaps mild intercourse. There's no such thing as mild intercourse. Then intense. I am flexible now. You trained me. That's not what I trained you for. Then I will thank you in the way my species deems appropriate. You're not in heat. Not biologically. Emotionally? Possibly. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Sat on the edge of his bed. I'm not used to being the prey in these scenarios. You are not prey. You are prize. She stepped forward again, this time carefully, gently. We do not have to engage. But I wish to express something. With your words? No. With my thighs. They are very expressive. He groaned but didn't move. She sat beside him, placed her hand on his knee. You healed me. Not just the pain. You saw me. Cared. Touched me like I was fragile, even though I am not. You are fragile, he muttered. Emotionally, you're like a grenade wrapped in compliments. You like grenades. No one likes grenades. Then why are you still here? Silence stretched between them. Not awkward. Just slow. Careful. The air felt like it might crack if either one spoke too quickly. Finally, he said, because you're ridiculous. And interesting. And a disaster. And I can't tell if I want to lock you out or what. Or let you keep doing whatever this is. She leaned in. Then let me thank you. One last time. For the healing. No misunderstanding. No misreading signals. Just pressure released. He hesitated. This is dangerous. Yes. Like dessert. He kissed her, partly to shut her up, partly because every other part of the day had been leading here, even if no one wanted to admit it. Her body responded immediately, as if her muscles had memorized the path from chaos to connection. The kiss was clumsy, hot, brief, like testing something that could explode. She pulled back just enough to whisper. That did not feel medical. That's because it wasn't. Are we mating now? No. We're starting. Whatever that looks like. Slowly. Maybe even normally. Define normal. With diagrams. No diagrams. Just, let's take the candles and thighs and metaphors and see where it goes. She smiled, real, soft, none of the usual performance. Then I am satisfied. For now. He chuckled. Well, that's new. Do not get comfortable. Satisfaction is temporary. And I still have 17 compliments left. I'm terrified. You should be. Compliment number 7 involves your lower back and a comparison to planetary curvature. He lay back on the bed, one arm over his eyes. This is the weirdest relationship I've ever had. It is not yet a relationship. Don't ruin the moment. Understood. Shall I blow out the candle? Please. Before we summon the fire alarm or an interspecies fertility ritual. She stood, padded to the candle, and blew it out in one sharp breath. The room darkened. The silence returned. But this time, it was full of possibility. She crawled back beside him. You are very warm, she murmured. That's what happens when you turn a man into a space heater with your thighs. Would you like to be used for heat distribution regularly? I'll consider it. As long as it doesn't come with more stretching sessions. Then I will restrict compression activities to personal time. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? Absolutely. He sighed, shifted to let her nestle beside him, and realized with a sinking sense of amusement that his bunk now smelled like cinnamon and alien ambition. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Probably more chaos, inappropriate compliments, and accidental erotic injuries, but for the first time, he didn't dread it. Somewhere between pain and laughter, pressure and release, awkward beginnings and unsolicited massages, they'd built something absurdly real. And if all else failed, at least his thighs were safe. For now.